Let's talk about something that's all too common here in the United States of America and in many places in Europe, and in Australia and New Zealand and India and Africa, where alcohol is illegal in some parts. It's a family history of alcoholism. Can you be at risk? Can you be at risk? Darn right you're at risk. We're going to learn something, a couple of pieces of information from the United States Department of Health and Human Services. So let's go ahead and read along. If you're among the millions of people in this country who have a parent, grandparent, or other close relative with alcoholism, you may have wondered what your family's history of alcoholism means for you. And if you haven't, now's your opportunity. Are problems with alcohol a part of your future? Is your risk for becoming an alcoholic greater than for people who do not have a family history of alcoholism? If so, what can you do to lower your risk? So it's a good possibility that you may be subject to that if you follow the same steps or even different steps, because it's in our bodies. Now, what can you do if you're predisposed to that to lower your risk? Many scientific studies, including research conducted among twins and children of alcoholics, have shown that genetic factors influence alcoholism. These findings show that children of alcoholics are about 4 times more likely than the general population to develop alcohol problems. Now, I don't understand that about the general population. I don't know where they got that, because we don't even know how many people are predisposed to this, but we're going to let them go on that one. But alcohol and alcoholism, the desire to consume that as a food, are ingrained in some people's genetic code. The basis of our lives, also in thought processes and everything. So just stay away from it. It's the important thing in the first place. If you're in there, you got to do some other stuff. Children of alcoholics also have a higher risk for many other behavioral and emotional problems. Now we're talking about the offspring of alcoholics in this particular case, where the parent's body may have been damaged and then passed on some of that damage to their offspring, who will need to definitely stay away from alcohol and just eat food that's healthy and live an active life and enjoy themselves. So there's some strange things going on in this brochure, but we're going to go on. But alcoholism is not determined only by the genes you inherit from your parents. That's not the only thing. It's not, oh, I got the genes, then therefore you're going to go buy the stuff and drink it and become an alcoholic. In fact, more than 1/2 of all children of alcoholics do not become alcoholic. Now that's another thing. I'm not even going to touch that right now. Research shows that many factors influence your risk of developing alcoholism, and some factors raise the risk while others lower it. Genes are not the only thing children inherit from their parents. How parents act and how they treat each other and their children has an influence on children growing up in the family. And these aspects of family life also affect the risk for alcoholism, as well as the community in which you live and the society in which you interact. Researchers believe a person's risk increases if he or she is in a family with the following difficulties. An alcoholic parent is depressed or has other psychological problems. Both parents abuse alcohol and other drugs. The parent's alcohol abuse is severe, and conflicts lead to aggression and violence in the family. The good news is that many children of alcoholics from even the most troubled families do not develop drinking problems. It is also true that, and this is not written here, that children of non-alcoholics, if they fall in with alcohol, can become alcoholics. The magic potion there is the alcohol. So just as a family history of alcoholism does not guarantee you will become an alcoholic, neither does growing up in a very troubled household with alcoholic parents. And neither does you growing up in a perfect household. There is still the possibility of becoming an alcoholic if alcohol becomes a pattern of consumption. The risk is higher, but it does not have to happen. If you're worried that your family's history of alcohol problems or your troubled family life puts you at risk for becoming alcoholic, and they do, here is some common sense advice. Avoid underage drinking. In fact, avoid drinking. That's my point. Don't do it. There's no such thing as social drinking. It doesn't exist. Underage drinking is illegal. And second, research shows that the risk for alcoholism is higher among people who begin to drink at an early age. A perhaps as a result of both environmental and genetic factors, and the fact that alcohol is addictive. Okay, so there you go. So avoid underage drinking. Drink moderately as an adult, or don't drink at all. You could do that. Save yourself some money and time and problems. Even if they do not have a family history of alcoholism, adults who choose to drink alcohol should do so in moderation. We also kind of covered this, but let's see what they have to say about it. No more than 1 drink a day for most women, and no more than 2 drinks a day for most men, according to guidelines from the United States Department of Agriculture that oversees alcohol, right? And the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, which treats people with alcohol problems. Notice we're not seeing anything from the Department of Alcohol, alcohol, firearms, and something else. We're not seeing from there. Interesting. But in any case, let's get on with this. Some people should not drink at all. That means you don't need a drink. You don't need the alcohol. It's cool. Everything's good. You need to relax, take a walk, sit down, watch something on TV. You really need to get drunk? I don't think so. Just throwing that in there. Okay, maintaining moderate drinking habits, or none at all, may be harder for them than for people without a family history of drinking problems. So once a person moves from moderate to heavier drinking, the risks of social problems, for example, drinking and driving, violence, trauma, cheating, lying, stealing, illegal behavior. Have you seen that in college? That's what occurs. Okay, so medical problems, for example, later on, liver disease, brain damage, and cancer as time goes on. They increase greatly. Now talk to a healthcare professional if you're having a problem or you know someone who is having a problem, because that's impacting you too, and that's not fair. Discuss your concerns with the doctor, nurse practitioner, or other healthcare provider. They can recommend groups or organizations that can help you avoid alcohol problems or deal with the ones that are happening right now. If you're an adult who has already begun to drink, a healthcare professional can assess your drinking habits to see if you need to cut back based on your drinking and advise you about how to do that. And I would suggest cutting back to 0. That's what I'm suggesting. Just stepping out there. I know I'm not the United States Department of Health and Human Services, but if you don't have to do it, why do it? So we're learning about, does a person have a predisposition towards alcoholism if they have a family history of alcoholism? And the answer is yes. And also, there will be alcoholism if someone drinks alcohol over and over and over again. Thank you for joining us.